Hey guys, so I just wanted to give you a little video love today, and I want to talk about healthy relationships with food. I feel like a lot of people do not have a healthy relationship with food. I have not had a healthy relationship with food for a lot of my life up until fairly recently, like in the last year or two. And just to give you a little bit of background on why I'm going to talk about this. So as I wrapped up my bikini boot camp, I know that a lot of people end up wanting to get really good results right at the very end. And none of my girls did this, thankfully. But I have had people in the past who think, oh my gosh, I have to get good results at the end of this program, otherwise I'm going to fail. And so what they do is they restrict their calories so much that they see worse results. So I just want to remind you guys that during this 5-day Jumpstart, this is not about calorie restriction or anything like that. Sorry, my kids are running around. This is all about building a healthier you and a healthier relationship with food. So a little bit about my past, which I don't really share a lot on this subject, but I haven't always had a really healthy relationship with food. Food has always been kind of like the enemy for me, up until fairly recently. So back in high school, right, I used to eat some crappy food. Like, seriously, I would go to the gym with one of my best girlfriends, and then, you know, the afterburn from a workout usually lasts about 30 minutes is what we were told back then. So we would go to McDonald's or make Whopper pie or, I don't know, eat something ridiculous. And I mean, I was young then, so who really gains a ton of weight when they're young, right? I mean, I still gained weight, but it wasn't a big deal. So fast forward a little bit to college a couple years later, and I had a boyfriend who, he was a great person, but I don't think he really understood that sometimes what he said or what he did or the things that he had plastered all over his walls or his clipboard kind of made an impact on me. So he would always have pictures of super skinny girls, and I'm not a super skinny girl. I'm 5'10". 150 pounds is like a good weight for me, and it's where I feel most comfortable. It's where my body kind of sets best at. You know, like my body just naturally sets there. And so I was 150, not really that big, but I started thinking, oh my gosh, he only likes skinny girls. And this was my first boyfriend. So I would restrict my calories and work out for 2 or 3 hours a day on the normal. So, you know, I was only taking in maybe like 600, 700 calories. And if it had more than 6 grams of fat in it, it was not going in my mouth. And, you know, I love food. I love food. I'm a big foodie. I watch what I eat now. You know, it has better calorie types, you know, rather than just watching calories, you know, like on the packages, you know, like, oh, this only has 200 calories, so I'm going to eat that. You know, that kind of a thing. Now I'm like, oh, this is really healthy for me, and I don't really count calories as much. So I just kind of want to remind you, like, this is not about calorie restriction. This is about gaining a healthy relationship with food. Food is not the enemy. It's just learning how to eat better. And eating for you, you know, is really what it's all about. So, also one of the things that I have been doing is I have been tracking what I eat lately, even though I just said I don't really count calories. Calories are kind of like off to the side, but I need to know what I'm putting in my body because, you know, like sometimes I just don't think about things. Like I noticed one day that I started like helping my kids eat their food, which is just silly, you know, and like I wasn't keeping track of that. So obviously, I mean, a couple little things here and there actually add up to big, I don't know, like 0 results. So I was helping my kids eat. So in order to keep myself on track just on like what I'm eating, you know, I started tracking again on MyFitnessPal. So if you guys want to start tracking for the sake of tracking what you're actually eating, not necessarily the calorie part of it, I definitely suggest it. I mean, when we write things down, like our goals, if you haven't written down your goal in writing, I highly suggest doing that. And if you haven't tracked your food, you know, and don't worry about the numbers. I'm going to really stress that one. Don't worry about the number of calories per se, but actually start logging it somehow, you know, whether it's a food journal, just to see what you eat on a daily basis. You know, is it in line with your goal that you just wrote down? You know, so if I wanted to lose 20 pounds in the next 3 months, how am I going to get there? You know, so you kind of need to know what you're putting in your body, you know, so if you're eating McDonald's, it's not going to happen. If you're eating healthy things like a hard-boiled egg and like some healthy options, you're probably going to get there. So I just kind of want to remind you that you need to track a little bit and make a food journal and be real with what you're eating. But I don't want anybody to develop any kind of bad habits that I used to have. So if you do have a bad relationship with food, please feel free to message me or your coach. I know a lot of people deal with this, especially women. And like honestly, a lot of men deal with this too, but it's more taboo for men to talk about what troubles them. So I get that. But if you are having any issues and you want to work through that, these groups are a perfect place because a lot of people struggle with the exact same thing. So anyway, I guess my message today is be mindful of what you're eating. Do not put a lot of pressure on yourself as far as like negativity. Like we have to stay positive and we have to think about what we're eating. But, like stick with your goals, but at the same time, just don't get so down on yourself that maybe you're not being perfect. It's not about perfection. It's about being better than we were before. So if you're making one choice that's at least a lot better than you normally do, like you're on the right track. So, I mean, eventually, I get kind of tough love on everybody, but now for the first 5 days is just not really the place. So anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to this really long video. I didn't realize how long it was going to be, but I just wanted to say, like, if you are struggling, you're not the only one, and I'm here for you. Okay, thanks.